Karen Swanson, Salvador Chocolate, San Salvador Estate. So the earliest record that I have of this estate is in 1919. And at that time, it was owned by a gentleman called Joseph Dabady. He's believed to have come to Trinidad under the settler population edict at that time. Since then, the estate has changed hands maybe about 5 times. The last owner was a gentleman called Robert Montano. A lot of people from South would know Montano's Plaza. And the current owner is a gentleman called Dave Ramkisoon, who would have bought it in 2021. Mr. Ramkisoon is a member of my family, so it's now more or less a family estate. Interesting things about San Salvador Estate is, since they have not used any chemicals, pesticides, fertilizers on our cocoa trees. Our cocoa trees, we have kept all our original trees in that. Some of them are 70 years old. So a lot of people may not know, but a cocoa tree can live up to 100 years. And so we believe in what we call natural. So we naturally grown, even down to our drying, we do sun drying. So we actually pay somebody to come and dry it in the cocoa house. Another interesting thing about the estate is at one time, we used to sell our beans to Hershey's. So, and the other thing is that we've had a very long-standing relationship with the Ministry of Agriculture. So, in the old days, many moons ago, they used to do a lot of experimentation on here in terms of new varieties and so. Yeah. So, what we have done since we've bought the estate is, not only have we started to replant, but we've also built, we have an entertainment center here where we have people coming to do weddings, all kinds of facilities here. And we also have 2 green hat cottages up at the top. It's on Airbnb, so people come from all over the world. Of course, we have our chocolate facility here. It's a tree to bar. So we go from the cocoa pod to the chocolate bar. So everything is done on the estate here. I was guided to resign my job in 2010. I felt a very strong calling that I was not living the life that I felt that I was born to live, in that my life was not purposeful. The first, as I left school, I got a job and started working for 30 years. And my motto at that time was to earn as much money as I could. However, when I had reached, I became the marketing director of a company doing export marketing. I had reached the top. I can't say I suddenly realized, but along the way, I started to realize that I was a very miserable human being. That I had searched so much, I had expended so much energy into making money, that I had let a part of me go. And that part of me was my soul. I've come to know it's my soul. That deep inner place inside of you where you find peace, where you find joy, where you find happiness. But the good thing about me, since I was a child, I knew I was born with purpose. So when I felt that calling, I eventually, after a year, I jumped off that roller coaster and resigned my job, and just prayed and said, God, I need to find my purpose. You need to show me. Part of my purpose is really to use chocolate as a vehicle to give my testimony, to tell people about what God has shown me. And the most profound thing, because I've been on a long journey, that God has shown me is basically that we are to become love. He says, I am a God of love. You have to become love. To get anywhere close to me, to get to the kingdom, you have to become love. He says it's the only thing that's missing in the world right now is love. My purpose is tied into this chocolate business, which he opened up to me and said to me, this is the vehicle that you're going to use to tell people about your journey. Simply. So I love that people can come here and get away from the concrete jungle, just explore. If you were to just sit under a tree when you come here, because this estate has healing energies as well. From the time you enter that gate, people start to feel differently. So many people, when the tour is finished, they say, can I stay on? Can I just relax in? It's just rejuvenating and bringing yourself back to you, coming back to your own quiet meditative state. We have adopted what is called a human condition. Everybody. Our minds take control of everything we do, but we were not meant to be physical human beings. We are spiritual beings here for physical experience, not physical beings for spiritual experience. So when people come on the estate, they reconnect to that inner part of them that sometimes we forget in the busyness of the world. And so they come and they enjoy and they feel relaxed and they feel a sense of peace, and hopefully they can take that with them when they go. A little piece of this, a little piece of the peace.
Great. Now it's over 200 acres of land in this estate. Can you tell us some of the fruit trees and
sure.
products that you have on there?
So about 40 acres of cocoa and almost every single type of fruit tree that you can think about is grown on this estate. Yeah, almost every single type of fruit that you can.
My favorite so far was the mangoes.
Lots of mango trees, lots of
variety.
avocados. Yeah, we have the long time fruits like Chinese tamarind. I don't know if you know that. We have balata. We have mamisipote. We have the new age ones like dragon fruits. Yeah, primrose. Lots of fruits. Yeah, if you can't starve on the estate, in other words, you will always have something. Yeah, lots of citrus. Like here's our citrus area, so we have a citrus field here. And, yeah.
So, coming back to the chocolate itself, what makes it so different to any other chocolate that we've tasted? What is the secret? What is different about San Salvador chocolate?
Well, I would first and foremost, so everybody's chocolate is unique. Everybody would have developed their own recipe. The chocolate has been blessed. And it has been blessed because the recipe was given to me by a higher source. And I actually have had people who would call me and say, I feel healing energies from this chocolate. There were 3 phases in my life, 3 stages. The first was the realization that money was no longer the currency. The second stage, that love is the new currency. And the third stage is my sharing what I've learned with people. So this is my sharing stage.
Now, talking about that, the chocolate that we made earlier seemed very pure. Do you introduce any other products into the chocolate, such as nuts or fruits? Or
well, so we have one with the cocoa nibs. Yeah, we have one with the cocoa nibs. So we just sprinkle that on the back because, as I explained earlier, it's very healthy for you. So a lot of people would buy that, as a health product. They're both healthy, but the nibs are extremely good for you.
But there aren't any nuts or any other things?
No, because remember, when we explored the flavor profile, we said mine had a nutty flavor. So when I started to make chocolates, everybody would say, why don't you put nuts? Why don't you put nuts? The Lord said, but you have a nutty profile. So I just use the nibs as a replacement, and it's so healthy. Yeah, good for you.
Where are the chocolates? How do you distribute the chocolates?
Okay. So my chocolates, because they are gourmet chocolates, they sell in the gourmet stores. So you'll find them in the gourmet stores in Trinidad throughout. Yeah. So I have a lot of things that aside from work. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm an employer. Yes, but I'm also a part of a network of people who pray, spend a lot of time in prayer.
I want to talk about the inception of San Salvador Chocolate and sort of how it came, because
came into being.
did you start it, or was it here already?
Well, no. The owner of the estate, Mr. Ramkisoon, he came, well, he sent someone one day and said, listen, we want to start this chocolate business and we want somebody to run it. But the interesting thing is that I had been at a prayer meeting just a couple of weeks before, and this pastor who had the gift of prophecy came up to me and said, you're going to have to make a big decision soon. So I was kind of like waiting for this big decision, and when it came, I realized that this is what he was talking about. So I said, sure, no problem. I didn't know a thing about chocolate. I was living on the estate, barely going on the field, barely tasting the cocoa pod. But from the time I heard the word chocolate, it triggered something in me. And we just started. We just started, fixed up the entire downstairs of this building. We just brought in the equipment. I went and did training, and I started just experimenting with chocolate. Well, based on my guidance, of course. Experimenting, doing flavoring, testing, packaging. And within 6 months, we had set up everything. Within a year, my product was on the shelf. And yeah, just moving.
So when you say it's available, it's a gourmet chocolate. It's available, I guess, in gourmet supply stores. But could you tell us some of the stores that we can find?
So peppercorns to start off with. So there's South Park, there's West Mall, there's Ellerslie Plaza. There's, so if you're coming up, so that's from South, we have the Gourmet Genie in South. You're coming up to Central, it's at Creme Fraiche, which is in Brentwood Mall. You're heading up the road, Happy Gourmet in Val Park, and you head up again further, well, it's in Maraval at Malabar, Adams Bagels, and well, West Mall down to the west there.
So what is the future for this business, and where do you see yourself in terms of guiding it and your input into guiding this into the future?
Well, that's the thing. I'm an open vessel for the guidance that comes. So I can't at this stage say where it's going to go, because I have no idea where it's going to go. I just wait for guidance and run with it when I get it.
Great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
It makes life a lot easier for me.
Yeah,
I don't have to bust my brain to figure out too many things.
definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us here at San Salvador Chocolate Estate.